This has got to be one of the best events in Genshin Impact. The Irodori Festival in Inazuma has absolutely been a 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Not only did we get theatre mechanicus, the parry mechanics, etc., we got lore, we got character interactions. Genshin Impact is primarily a story driven game, and to be able to see different characters from different regions coming together and, in effect, solving a mystery was so refreshing. We learned quite a lot about the different characters, and the best way to learn about a character is not just to do a single story quest exploring their background, but also learning how they interact with other characters. And I think honestly, the writers did such a good job with this event. And from me, from my personal sort of experience, I've had a rough week, like at work. Obviously, if you're managing billions of money, of dollars, like on behalf of your client, you've got to make sure you do the right thing. So there's been a lot of stress. And after having the stressful week, and now we've got the Easter weekend, being able to just come back and play an event like this, which is almost like an anime, it's almost like watching a movie. It almost felt effortless and engaging. I really enjoyed it. I think that's what made this event, from my personal experience, so good. So let's talk a bit about the event and give it a bit of a review. So the first thing is we obviously had the story of the five poets, which in turn turned out to be not the mystery that we were actually trying to solve, but it was an allegory to Kazuha's backstory. And this is what blew me. I was like thinking, okay, Genshin Impact is just going to take us through this linear progression, and then it just went into a direction I did not expect. It was so good, and being able to understand Kazuha's backstory in detail, his family, his resolve, being able to see him talking with Kucho Sara saying, look, the Vision Hunt decree happened. I was a criminal in your eyes. Um, Seeing that, that resolution to that thread was really awesome. Seeing the sort of tie into the Baladia Scaramouche was absolutely great. I mean, from version 1.1, we saw Scaramouche, and he was obviously intending to kill the Traveler way back when, which unironically Mona saved the Traveler, kind of making Mona the MVP. But yeah, it was quite interesting to see how all of these different characters we've been introduced to tie in well with each other. So it's not like we're introducing more and more and more. It's like we're trying to now sort of circle back around what we have. And I think that really hit the nail on the head. From a lore wise perspective, it was so good. So from my perspective, Kazuha's backstory, getting to know more about him, I really appreciate it. So Kazuha rerun in the future, maybe it'll be quite awesome. So let's talk about the rest of the characters in this event. Albedo, this guy has got a yeah, he's got an IQ probably of, I don't know what, 180 or something. This guy is probably the smartest character I've seen in Genshin Impact, and him being as autistic as he is was also very nice to see. Yeah, he is, I think, in terms of IQ, I'd probably put him at the top of the smartest characters in Genshin, and then probably below that Yaimiko and Kokomi. But he is, I really liked sort of seeing him. He's such a refreshing character to have around. I don't mind him being around. Some of the other characters, obviously Venti and Yamiko scheming. I thought it was funny. Venti just being himself. It's I think it's almost like I think Venti has been to Inazuma before because he was just so comfortable with what he was doing. Obviously we had little Klee and Yoimiya. I think that childlike wonder that Klee gave in this event was really awesome. They scaled the mountains. They went to eat some new things. Klee met Yoimiya. They painted together. I think Mia also being so good with kids, really, and being a pyromaniac like Klee, sort of really, you could see there was like a very healthy dynamic between her and Klee, and it was awesome to see that. So I really enjoyed that. And then I think the interesting thing about this event was seeing Ito. And his gang like sort of hogging the photo booth. What I really loved about that edition was the fact that no event in real life. So, for instance, if you've ever manned like, or you've been like at a booth, you had to man a stall, or you were just like a participant at some sort of festival, things go wrong. Stocks goes missing. People sometimes buy too many things and then resell it at an inflated price. A lot of the realistic things, the troublemakers and all of these things, I just felt like the writers really introduced a lot of realism into this festival. Nothing goes without the problems, and I think they really did quite a good job of giving you the sense that this was quite a successful festival, but there were also problems. And I think the realism behind that was, I really liked that. I think one of the more funniest moments for me was with Kujo Sora and the statue, sort of the whole statue thing. So yeah, you've got Kuchasara having a Raiden Shogun, omnipresent thunder of gods, that whole line, and she's like, you must maintain the statue, you've got to follow the 5 steps, and she's just like talking with all this reverence, and then Raiden Shogun just very casually pops up and it's like, oh, I don't think people really like these trinkets or this figurine, and yeah, Mika should have told me. Just that contrast and irony I found to be very, very refreshing. And then Kuchasara just walking away with her head in shame. It was so funny. And then Raiden being like, oh yeah, they gave me this little statue of myself, but I don't need it. I thought I'm going to give it to you as a gift, traveler, which I thought was kind of sweet from Raiden. Um, and then obviously the best part of the event was seeing Yae Miko and Kokomi coming together. And you could, I think the way Yae Miko put it, saying Kokomi is as cute as a jellyfish, but her words sting like one. I thought that was like that was really, really well put by Yamiko. So you can obviously see that her and Kokomi have had quite a lot of interaction, and Yamiko is very scheming. She'll obviously put Inazuma's interests sort of at heart, and you can see Kokomi, from what you can gather, doesn't really. She's not an easy pushover. So they would very. I think from when they talk politics, there'll be these very heavyweight political, intellectual discussions, like the give and take between Watatsumi and Inazuma. It's something that I wish we could have explored a lot more in the event, because it's something that's very, very interesting. But you definitely see that there's this playful side and respect between Yamiko and Kokomi, and I loved it. I loved seeing that, and then of course, obviously, poor Goro being afraid of Yamiko. That's absolutely hilarious. So I think to sum it all up, the what I've remembered from this event is exactly what I've just told you. The character interactions, the stories, the funny moments, the serious moments of Kazuha as well. This is what made the event. It's not the combat, it's not you just getting a bunch of food buffs and taking a bunch of enemies out as quickly as possible for Primo Gems. I feel there's a place for combat, but what this festival's really done is it's brought Genshin back to the roots of being a story-driven, casual gaming experience, sorry. And that's what I loved about it. And I think the festival sort of did it justice. I think all of the characters, all the voice actors, and it is something that I'm looking forward to. I want this. I want more and more of these characters in the future as well. We don't need. I feel like often a game like Genshin Impact can fall into a trap of introducing too many characters, but once you circle a bit, you circle around and you start tying all the threads together, that's what makes a successful story. That's what people will ultimately remember. And yeah, that has been my review for this festival. Hopefully, you guys have also enjoyed it. And yeah, have a great weekend. Cheers.